If you or your partner don't give each other space, then there's probably some insecurity. Welcome everybody to the Rally Cry podcast. I am your host, Angel Rios, and I am feeling great today. I am feeling, the most appreciated of myself. And I'm glad that you guys are here to listen to perspective, because initially that's really what it is. And I think perspective that I've heard plenty from others has changed my life, and I just made them into my own. And if you're cooking, if you're cleaning, or whatever it is, I also appreciate you for being here. And today we're going to get right into the biggest thing. And I think it's when we feel uncomfortable about having space, about being alone. Right? I believe when it comes to having too much space, we might say, I can't really be with myself, or it's very uncomfortable. I've had plenty of people that has mentioned that to me, and I understand how that feels, because it feels weird, it feels uncomfortable, and it feels like you should be with someone. I think with myself growing up, and I was living pretty much just with me and my mom. It wasn't really anyone else. Of course, my grandma will come because, my grandma was also someone that raised me, but I didn't have anyone to play with. So a lot of it was just my own imagination and playing with things. And maybe that is what just led up to me being better okay with myself. But I think when it comes to being in a relationship, I was talking to one of my friends, and we were kind of just chopping it up, catching up, and we were talking about, our love life and, how we are in this relationship and how we want to be mindful on how we are taking space, right? Because a lot of times we get into relationships and we think that those relationships should identify who we are. And sometimes we take that as a way to identify ourselves. And it happens to be where we lose touch of who we are. And that happens a lot of the times when we don't give one another space, right? Because when you don't give each other space, you almost feel like suffocated. You feel like you can't really do anything. And if you were going to do something, you can only do with that person. So it almost makes you rethink yourself. Like, can I do this? I don't know if this person is going to want to go, right? But what if you just want to go? And if he or she doesn't want to, then they don't have to. And I think when we hear about space, right, I found this funny because a lot of the time when you think about space and you say, well, I think a relationship needs space, you ask yourself, what is space, right? You don't want to go to your girlfriend and tell her, oh, hey, I need space. She's gonna take that wrong. Matter of fact, that is kind of just more of the idea. Even if my girl came to me and said, oh, I need space, I'm gonna be like, what did I do? Right? So I think there's a negative connotation to it. But like when we hear space, I need space, it's also trying to say that we need time, right? Because everything needs space. I mean, right now we are in a space. There's also space between words, right? When you're reading in a book, there's space between every word. Within space, you get clarity, right? Like, let's share this perspective right now. I hope you guys are getting where I'm going with this. Everything needs space. I mean, you can't have everything all on top of each other, because then it doesn't make sense. I mean, we are people that are compartmentalized on everything, right? We have cabinets, we have drawers, we have all these things, is because we keep them organized. And I really want you to think about how space is actually a good thing, and is reason why I even state that if you can't give yourself space from someone, there's some attachment there, right? And it's okay to love someone and love being around them, but there's always a fine line for everything. Too much of anything isn't even good for you. It doesn't matter how healthy it can be, right? Too much bananas is not good for you, right? Too much strawberries, and I can go on and on. And so you just want to be mindful that when you are asking for space, and not even if you're asking for space, but for the fact that you need space in a relationship, this gives a perspective that, it has nothing to do with you. It just has something to do with us, right? Because that's the point of a relationship. The point of a relationship is to work together, to be able to understand one another, and knowing that there's a time and place for everything. And although it might be a time for me, but maybe it's not a time for you. And I should be okay that you want to stay home. and or be okay that I want to go and do this thing and maybe you don't have the energy to. And I should be okay with that myself. It's a thing that has to be where both understand that and both can come with the regulation of it, because I'm pretty sure many of us can feel that, oh, if one person wants to go do something and you don't really want to go, but they really want to just go on their own time, right? You might feel some type of way, oh, like he doesn't want me to go with him, or she doesn't want me to go with her, or she's doing something, and it's like, no, it doesn't really mean that. And then, if you are thinking that, then maybe this is a different topic that will be getting into. But I want to share with you the 4 things that I believe strongly, and it's guaranteed that this is something that you need in a relationship. There's you and me time, there's family time, there's friend time, and then there's me time, right? Like, you want to be able to have those spaces. Like, ideally, you can, have your own mixture of how you want to do it, right? You can do it with your significant other and then still do it with friends and family. But ideally, you want all of these to be strictly, oh, I just need me time, family time, friend time, and then you and significant other time. And I know sometimes what we do is that we think that our significant other, our partner, should be with us throughout everything, right? Your partner, the person that you're in a relationship with isn't your life. It's a part of your life, right? You don't want to make it ideally that they have to be there for everything, or you have to be there for everything, because you're going to find that you're going to be limited. You're going to feel limited off the bat, because you are subconsciously conditioning yourself to think that everywhere you go, that person is going to be with you. You know what I mean? So you're thinking more about, oh, are they going to like this? Rather than you can have the opportunity to think about if you would like it. And if they like it, great, awesome. But be mindful that space is what's needed. You need to know how, like, for example, work doesn't count. It doesn't count. So don't use that as a thing. And the biggest thing about having space in a relationship is communicating that, right? My mom always says, a closed mouth don't get fed. If you don't say anything, you're not going to get anything. You need to say how you want it. And I think one of the best questions you can ask right now, how much time do you like hanging out, right, together? What would you say is the amount of time you would like to spend together in a week? That is the most impactful question that you can have in your relationship. And you could go over it every so often. If you want to do it every month, I mean, it really depends. What do you think? Because it depends on the lifestyle, right? And that's why there's so many factors. Communication is key, and that's why it's important. So just remember, when you have space in a relationship, it's because you want to be able to miss that person. You want to be able to come back and have something to talk about rather than be like, oh, yeah, I know I was there. You know what I mean? The point of having space is to know that if space is given, that will really show if there was really love, right? And that's what love is. The space in between will show love. And you will know for the fact of that, because usually when you miss someone, you think about them and you want to see them. If someone could get too distracted to whatever they're doing on their own time and they do anything beyond the means to disrespect, then they did the work for you, right? They did the fact of doing something that wasn't paying mind, wasn't respecting, right? Looking again to know that you're there. So don't be too scared about giving space. It's not a bad thing. It's actually very healthy. And I encourage it for everybody. It's guaranteed to impact all your relationships. And to end it off, I would say I've known my best friend Tyler, as you know. I've known him for like 13 years. He lives in Texas, and even prior to he moved, before we used to be like this. And mind you, I feel like we're always like, really close, because every single time, I haven't seen him for months, but when I see him, it's like we never skipped a day. And that's how you know when there is appreciation, where there's love, where there's respect. So I'm so glad that, we able to talk about stuff like this, because this is really important. It's something that I wish I was able to be in more conversations of. I had to learn things on my own time, on my own way, and also just witnessing too, and then doing research. That's the thing, right? You want to be able to be mindful. If you want to have your relationships to be healthy and strong, you got to take it serious. And sometimes that takes a little bit of research. It takes perspective. It takes asking the right questions. And you can do a lot of that within the relationship itself. Just be mindful that you guys are always growing. You don't always have to do it together, but yes, it would be nice, and it also still be nice if you can also do that yourself. You build confidence that way, and that also builds trust in relationship, as long as the other person doesn't do anything to, cross that boundary. So I hope you guys got something from this episode. I like keeping these ones short because I know you guys like these, and yeah, I'm just really grateful. Meditation event, by the way, I just want to let you guys know that went out great. If you didn't know about the meditation event, it was the first initial meditation event that the Rally Cry had. It was so great, and everybody that showed out and supported it and was able to get something out of it feel rejuvenated, and I look forward to doing more like that. But for the next one, this is coming up very soon on July 24th. There will be a game night over at White Line, downtown Springfield, Massachusetts, and it's a really great time to just bring your friends and family. You're going to play Enough Said, Uno, Connect 4, Dominoes, Jenga, and this is going to continue growing. This is the second time doing it there, and I just want to give a shout out to Ray Berry because he has been awesome of being able to allow me to be in his space. There will also be food there, there's drinks there, and it's just a great time. So as this being the second one, the third one, and then so on, we'll keep on going and it'll keep on growing. So why not show out for the first couple and see how we grow. So until next time, you guys be easy. Peace.